Holy cow, Vikings fans. The Minnesota Vikings are officially firing GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Nobody saw this coming. We thought after the season maybe there was a slight chance that Kwesi could potentially be fired from the Minnesota Vikings, but he did his end-of-the-year presser. He was down in Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and then out of nowhere on January 30th, the Minnesota Vikings have officially fired their GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I can't believe this. We're going to be going live here on the channel in just a second, probably in about an hour or so after we're filming this video, but I'll give you guys my initial reaction right now as they are officially letting go Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and we will have a full-on general manager search here with the Minnesota Vikings, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We thought this offseason was going to be pretty, boring. Not a lot of drama with the Minnesota Vikings. That couldn't be farther from the truth as the Vikings are officially parting ways and firing their GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. So hit that subscribe button today. Help us reach our next milestone of 70,000 subscribers here on the channel. Hit that sub button today. Stay up to date with everything around your Minnesota Vikings. So what a shocker here. I mean, I did not have this on my bingo card today. I had no idea that this would be in the folds for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, quick initial thought here. I think the Minnesota Vikings organization, I think it is clear that Kevin O'Connell has all the power. And I think this is a good example of that. I think the Vikings firing Kwesi Adofo-Mensah shows that, hey, KOC, he is the one calling all the shots. He is the one that is controlling this Vikings organization. And we understand the shortcomings of Kwesi as a GM. His draft classes back in 2022, horrible. 2023, horrible. 24, some success with guys like Dallas Turner, Will Reichard, Levi Drake Rodriguez. And this past year in 2025, obviously not the greatest. And then I think the biggest reason why the Vikings are letting him go is because you spent $350 million on this roster this past season. The most amount of cash spent on a single NFL team this past year was the Minnesota Vikings, and it was constructed by the GM. You went 9-8. You botched the decision of the quarterback with Sam Darnold, or yes, all of us. We all wanted J.J. McCarthy. We all said, hey, maybe it's time to move on from Sam Darnold and then turn the keys over to J.J. McCarthy. We hear you on that. Or the Vikings, or GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was hearing the fan base, and maybe he thought that was the right move, but he's the one that's getting paid millions of dollars to make these decisions, and he completely botched it. When you let go of a quarterback that just won 14 games, who threw for 35 touchdowns, and now that same guy is on a different team because you could have franchise tagged him, you could have made him a better offer where he would have been more than willing to stay in Minnesota, and now that guy's in the Super Bowl, there are some serious ramifications, and somebody had to have been held accountable, and the Vikings are holding their GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, accountable for this one. So, clearly I think this is the right move. Like, I'm not disagreeing with this move whatsoever from the Vikings front. I just think this is more evidence that, hey, the guy who's making all the decisions in this organization is Kevin O'Connell. And I'm curious to see how the reporting of this will all come out. Like, who really had the final say? Like, was this the Wilf's decision? Was this, who's really calling the shots here? Because I think a lot of this is with the Vikings knowing that there is a lot of pressure on this coaching staff. Like, KOC, he needs to win a playoff game next season, or he's going to probably follow Kwesi Adofo-Mensah on his way out. I think there is a solid chance that Kevin O'Connell probably went up to maybe ownership and said, hey, we need to nail this year's draft. We need to at least get 2 to 3 high-impact starters in this year's draft, and he probably didn't have a lot of faith in Kwesi, and I'm sure the ownership group didn't have a lot of faith in Kwesi here. Like, you got the 18th pick. It's not like you're drafting top 10. Like, the 18th pick overall is not like a surefire home run pick, and they just clearly don't have faith in Kwesi, getting it done. And I also think this past free agency class was such a disaster. Like, you think about the guys that they brought in, them bringing in, Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, bust there. Bringing in Will Fries. Will Fries was healthy for all 17 games. Is he living up to that $88 million contract? Not necessarily. Ryan Kelly, kind of get unlucky with that one with all the concussions that Ryan Kelly has dealt with over the this past season. But you botched the quarterback position. Like, I still think all of this, like, if I had to go, why was Kwesi fired? Huge pie chart of blame here, or the reasoning why. I think 50% is just the decision to let Sam Darnold go. Now, I have my questions with, was Kwesi really the one making the decision to let Darnold go? Because I could make a hell of an argument that it was Kevin O'Connell that had the biggest say on letting Sam Darnold out the door. And he probably was like, oh, I could get the most out of JJ. But also, I think the backup quarterback position, that was another botch by the Vikings this past offseason, where Kwesi, he was pretty much flat out honest. He was saying that that they were valuing the comp pick formula as the biggest reason why they did not want to go bring in a backup quarterback. They didn't go out there and sign a Joe Flacco. They didn't go out there and get a Gardner Minshew, for example, because they wanted to get a 4th-round comp pick. Well, JJ was coming off a torn meniscus. He got hurt again. And I'm not saying Carson Wentz was like the biggest reason why the Vikings were a disaster this past season, but it's just insane. I truly can't believe this. I mean, listen, Kwesi was 44 years old. He was hired back in 2022. Listen, this was an outside-the-box, process-oriented thinker. This is coming in from Alec Lewis. He was extended last offseason, which I think is crazy as well. And they really saw, like, the Vikings organization probably viewed Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah as like, all right, these are the guys leading the future here. These are the guys that are going to be connected at the hip. And I think KOC separated himself from Kwesi. I mean, the fact that this is coming right now, it is January 30th. Like, this is insane. Apparently, there's Schefter tweeting this out. There's been underlying tension, and it's been ugly in Minnesota. And then today, the Vikings fire Kwesi. There have been rumors for weeks about this, and even after Kwesi Adofo-Mensah gave his postseason press conference, he's been at the Senior Bowl this week. Every time I've checked, I've been told there were no plans to make changes. This was a very recent decision. I mean, I'm just in shock right now. I mean, the Schefter tweet about there being tension in the Vikings building and said it's been ugly in Minnesota. This is insane. The Vikings just had a statement that just came out. I'll read this to you guys, and we'll also be going live here on the channel here shortly, and we'll discuss this in full. But this is absolutely insane. I mean, you're firing a GM about a month after the season ended. This is not normal, but this is – so the Vikings are saying these decisions are never easy. We are grateful for Kwesi's contributions, yada, yada, yada. Executive Vice President of Football Operations – Rob Brzezinski will lead our operation through the 2026 NFL Draft. He brings tremendous credibility. Okay, so they're already promoting Rob Brzezinski to lead the operations through the 2026 NFL Draft. After the draft, we intend to conduct a thorough search to identify our next general manager. So the Vikings aren't even going to hire another GM until after the 2026 Draft. It's going to be Rob Brzezinski who will lead the Vikings operate. Kevin O'Connell's calling the shots. Like, that is as clear as day. KOC has the most power in this organization. He's the one calling the shots. They're not going to have another GM until after the 2026 NFL Draft. This is insane. I can't get over this. Listen, we'll be live here on the channel. A lot to break down here. A whole lot to break down. We'll be live here on the channel shortly. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, though. Yeah, make sure you guys tune into our live show coming up here probably about 12:40 Central Time. So see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.